Hello, the tiny issue. I'm King, the owner of CookDaily, and we're here in my small restaurant where I do all the cooking. King's a father, a mentor, a husband, a son, all of that, yeah. Food is a big part of my life, but not everything. I'd say cooking with my dad and growing up with my dad around food is still the same with me and my family. I feel like food is not just food, you know, it's a moment, a time around the dinner table, and luckily my father always made sure that we always had dinner around the table. So that's a tradition that I always carry on with my children. We always eat together. And I'm trying to say we catch up at the end of the day, what happened at school, what happened at training, what happened at work, and we're just around the dinner table. So the tradition has been passed down for sure. Yeah, food for me is just beyond food. It's so much of a connection with food. I mean, my greatest memories with food is just around, I probably don't even remember the dish that we had on that day, but I remember the company that I was in, do you know, if that makes sense. So it's like, I think about food, the time where I was in Spain, I was in the countryside, south of Spain. There was flamenco music in the background. We had tapas, and I'm not sure about the whole menu, but I do remember the feeling and the emotions that I felt on that day, and it was very cultural. So yeah, food for me is just great memories, but not about the food necessarily, about the ambience, the company, and the setting. Yeah. Seeing Indy train and in her own element, boxing, fighting, training, it reminds me that I have to keep on fighting, you know what I mean? Yeah, with my own fight, whatever that may be. But seeing her in that ring, being so tiny, her nickname is the Mini Sledgehammer. Being so tiny and small compared to all her other teammates, it just proves to me that it doesn't matter how small or big you are, it's what's inside your heart. You know what I mean? And seeing her push through that just inspires me so much. So I can only push forward with her, you know? 100% she motivates me. Someone that's so small and tiny, small hands, small feet, like a small human, but she's in a fight. And yeah, that's inspiring for sure. Create memories with food. Yeah, for example, the dinner table, parties, like make an effort with food. For example, like if there's ever a gathering, a family gathering or a party, I'm the one that's always bringing the good food to the table, to the party. I want food to be a part of her upbringing and her future, because food for us, especially Lao people and Southeast Asian, is such a big part of our culture. When you step into a Lao person's house or a Thai person's house, the first question we ask is not how are you or where'd you come from, is have you eaten yet? So we'll be like kin kaulaba, which means have you eaten yet, with a question mark, and then you'll say yes, no, and then there's always food there. So it's like, it's a big part of my culture. So I would love her to take that on board with her future and her career. So when she does make it pro and there's food in the dressing room, make sure that there's not just crisps and grapes. we want the whole spread. Yeah. It was market stalls, and then food trailers, and then pubs, and then restaurants, and then hotels, and then starred restaurants. So it was from bottom to top, because some people start from the top, like you say, from hotels straight away, and they don't experience the graft of market work, because the market work is very important, because I used to set up the market stalls before we even had to serve the food. It was driving there at 5 a.m. with my dad from East to South London, setting up stalls with rainproof materials and stuff like that. So that's a big part of the graft to get to the top, if you know what I mean. You know, I cook for him. Yeah. I cook for him sometimes, but I don't cook with him. We used to cook together side by side. Yeah, that was magical. It was magical. It really was, because my dad was still active and he taught me so much. But there came a point where we would argue because I felt like my technique was better, and I still believe it is, because it's meant to be, because I'm meant to be a more evolved cook. So there would be sometimes we would cook side by side, and we would kind of like clash, because I would have my say and be like, that's not ready yet, or I would like to do it this way, and he'd be like a bit old school, be like, no, that's good to go. And I guess that comes from just me being me and wanting perfection. My dad also wanted perfection, but it was slightly toned down. I was quite, you know, forceful in, no, I want it like this. So we would clash. So that's me being honest, we would clash. And then once we stopped cooking together, it was fine. And then, yeah, so now I still cook for my dad. He does like a spicy whole fun noodle, which I make. I guess I'm good with the wok. And my dad, where he's quite old now, not as young as he once was. So you know, with wok cooking, it's quite physical. So I'm talking about high flame, lots of toss, lots of wok hay. That's me. My mum and dad love it when I do that for them, because it just reminds them of, I guess, a Chinese restaurant the way they would do it. I became vegetarian in 2009 and I stayed that way for 5 years. And in 2014, I took a slight break in cooking and I met a few fitness people along the way. And some of them are my good friends now. And I was into fitness. It was calisthenics, 2 to 3 times a week. I met a great guy that did parkour. He showed me a whole new different way of training. And I was like, wow, this movement is speaking to me, you know? So I just realized that I wanted to be lighter. I wanted to be lighter. And when I mean lighter, I mean physically and mentally. And I felt that a vegetarian diet for me was quite heavy, because I came from the traditional background of food, heavy cream, heavy butter, eggs. So I was still a vegetarian, but I would be heavy on the eggs. So you're talking about boiled eggs, omelette, egg fried rice, fried egg on top of rice. You're talking about loads of butter. You're talking about pizza with cheese and everything. I still felt heavy. So I thought, let me cut that out. And obviously for ethical reasons, when you look into it, but I'm talking about the health side of it now, I felt lighter within my mental state of mind and my, you know, physicality. Like my diet was cleaner. I was heavy into fruits and raw foods and coconut water. And that was 2014. And then 2015, I decided to open CookDaily and make it 100% vegan. Not having eggs, not having butter, not having dairy, you know? I mean, the difference between having my name on the door now and before is it just means that I have to be honest with my guests and my clients. Do you know what I mean? My name on the door, I feel that I should be present in the kitchen. Whereas CookDaily before, when I was running 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time, it was my brand, my menu, and I had people to help me along the way, head chefs, etc. Whereas now it's micromanaged, just myself and my wife, back to the essence. And putting my name King CookDaily, adding the King just means that, look, I have to be present, I have to be here. So no matter what's going on outside of my kitchen, it doesn't really bother me. I'm not really interested. I have to be focused when I'm on shift, when I'm in service. Whereas before, I had a head chef, I'll come up, have conversations, whatever. But now it's like, okay, we have to manage my time a bit more, because when I'm in service, I'm in service. Or else the food's not gonna get cooked, you know? Having your name on the door, a lot of people don't even know that you're in the kitchen, because they don't. I think that's just a chef's thing. We kind of know who's in the kitchen, who's not. You know, like an active chef that's still active and cooking, you'll know about it through social media or through word of mouth. And a chef that has his name on the door and is running his company or his restaurants, you know about that also. So I guess it's a good time for people to eat when the chef is actually behind the stove. And this is my time now. I'm behind the stove every single day, every single shift. And I think it's a good time to eat King CookDaily for sure. Food for me is a great expression. I express myself through food just by flavors and colors, man. And the choices of my menu. I'm looking at my menu now and I can see, I think that's a good representation of the way I cook and the way I like to eat, you know. King CookDaily is a small takeaway business that's focused on rice bowls. You have your rice and you have your bowl, and then you have whatever is cooked on top. I have only 2 noodle dishes, one being a pad thai, which is the national dish of Thailand. That's my vegan version, where I substitute the eggs for the tofu. I substitute the fish sauce for the vegan fish sauce, which I make myself. And the Japanica, which is my Japanese take on a dish. Japanica actually was the name of this restaurant before.
Oh.
So I thought, let me pay homage and just name a dish after the restaurant. But Japanica was a sushi / Japanese fast food place. So I wanted to create something in honor of the old owners. So I came up with Japanica, which is basically udon noodles and a katsu chicken on top with a teriyaki glaze. And yeah, it's a Japanese themed dish. So they are my 2 noodle dishes. The rest are rice bowls. And I only have 10 dishes, but they are a good representation of the way I like to cook, which is just quite aggressive and flavoursome and never bland. That's it really. Actually, the lao bowl is a new addition to my menu, and it's a good seller, you know. I didn't think it would be such a good seller because, you know, I've just added the lao bowl to the menu thinking, let me just represent my country, my culture, Laos. And to be honest with you, it's one of the best sellers. And I'm happy about that, yeah. I didn't think it would be. I didn't think it's a new dish that I've added to the menu, but it's been a good success. I guess people kind of like that the new flavor balance, because you got your saltiness, you got your zinginess, your tanginess from the lime, and all the herbs mixed, and especially with the toasted rice. So there's a toasted rice that I make. I toast the rice slowly, and then we pulverize it into a powder, and that's sprinkled on top, and that's Lao sticky rice. So it's a complex dish, and it's a new dish for people also. You got 9 more dishes to explore. Do you know what? The answer to that is it'll be an international spread. Yeah, because that's what London is. It's a melting pot of just loads of cultures mixed into one. So I wouldn't do it justice to create one dish. It'd have to be a spread of things. And luckily in London, we have such a multicultural place that we can just share all our flavors on one table. Because I could walk out the streets now and get food from Korea, England, India, Bangladesh. The list goes on and on and on and on. That's the great thing about London City, especially where we are now, Shoreditch. You go to that end, market stalls, food from around the world. This side, food from around the world. So I'm spoilt for choices. So yeah, it'd be a spread. It'd be a spread of international cuisine. I'd have to invite some chefs from all over the world. I feel the opposite of that. Yeah, I do. I think British food gets quite negative reviews from outsiders that doesn't live here. But for me and my children, one of our favorite dishes, cuisines, is pie and mash. And that's like traditional London grub, especially East London. It's very popular here. And for us, it represents like a warming time, like, and also it just reminds me of my childhood. Also, British cuisine is actually quite complex. Also, if you look back into the history of it, we're talking about offal and traditional English food from way back in the day, oysters, pies, and stuff like this. There's a great story about a pie as well. Why is a pie a pie? Because of the outside casing, right? To preserve it. Like, for example, pie and mash. Why the vinegar? Why the chili vinegar? Why the vinegar? It was to discard the taste of meat going off and stuff like that. So if you understand the history of food, you get to appreciate it more. So I feel that British cuisine has a lot to offer, you know, and that's not just pie and mash, that's other things as well. And a lot of people say that it's bland, but the truth is, we are trying to appreciate the produce. So with mashed potatoes here, it's just mash, a little bit of salt, and that's it, yeah? In France, we have mash, butter, cream, maybe garlic, whatever. Here, we focus on the produce. So when I have mashed potatoes at the pie and mash up, I don't look for 5 elements of flavors, saltiness, sweet, spicy, sour. I'm just looking for a good quality potato that's been mashed. You see what I'm trying to say? There's ways that you can look at it. The scene is amazing, it's thriving. A lot of people from France say that, you know, England, London is up there, #1. But I'd say with British food, you look at the fish and chips, the pies, the shepherd's pies, the cottage pies, all that stuff. All this can be eaten in a pub setting as well, you know, a free house. So it's like you have your beers, and if you pair it with the type of food that they serve at a pub, it just goes together. Do you know what I mean? Like, So it's a cultural thing also. Sunday roast, English breakfast, like on a Sunday. Like I used to make that often with my kids. I wake up on a Sunday, cook an English breakfast, a vegan version obviously. They love it. They love it. They love the variety of it. You got your hash browns, your sausage, your mushrooms. You know what I mean? I can't forget mustard. Do you know, like they love it. My definition of good food is, it's cliche, but it is food that speaks to the soul. Yeah, it's what speaks to you. If instant noodles speak to you, then that's your version of good food. Do you know what I mean? For me, it's everything. I love fine dining. I love to have little tasting menus. But then again, I love a good club sandwich or a good bagel, you know, with just peanut butter or almond butter or something. I think it's just so subjective for what it reminds you of also. Good food is what speaks to your soul. So obviously your one might be different to mine. You know what I mean? And with me, I don't have one type of favorite food at a time. It depends on the season. So let's say summer, I might want a nice cold gazpacho. You know what I mean? A nice Spanish soup with ice in there, loads of Tabasco, black pepper. Winter now, I might want a hearty Vietnamese noodle soup pho with loads of chili. That's gonna warm me up, make me blow my nose after, etc. So it really depends. I don't have like a favorite food, just one type. It depends on the seasons for me. When you're in England, you got 4 seasons, so I adapt. Sometimes I just love smoothies and juices, you know? And sometimes I want really something heavy. It depends. Oh, getting hungry now. I wouldn't say like I purposely built it like that. It's just represents who I am and what's around me. You know, I love all the things that you just mentioned, and I just made sure that opening my own space, I can express myself with that. You know, so for example, music you mentioned. I can choose what type of music I want, and most of the times it's a mixture of things and heavily influenced by the London musicians that are around. I love London culture, London music especially, so I play a lot of that. With the art side of things is graffiti. As you can see, I've added the elements of graffiti into this small space. So it's just about having the freedom to express myself in a small space, in a small setting, and also translate that into my dishes as well. Colors, textures, names, description, it's all playful as well. One of my popular dishes is the yoga fire, and that's based on a Street Fighter character.
Oh.
Yeah, called Dao Sim. So if you read the menu here, it says mildly spiced yellow vegetable curry with chickpeas, sweet potatoes, and mung dal simmered in golden coconut milk, but Dao Sim. So I've dropped his name there, but that's just like for people that know about Street Fighter, they would understand that. And the yoga fire is his special move. And he's from India, this character. And all the elements there are from that part of the world, and that's my kind of homage to an Indian yellow curry. You know what I mean? So that's like, I grew up playing Street Fighter, such a big part of my childhood. I was proper geeking out, proper geek Street Fighter every single day in the arcades. And then when it came out on a console, I was the first one to have it. So when I designed my menu, I think, how could I be playful a bit and just represent myself, my childhood? People don't have to know about it. It doesn't really bother me. It's just about when I come in here, I know that, yeah, I created that, I did that, just like graffiti. If I see the stuff that I did on the streets or whatever, I realize that, yeah, you know, I did that also. And that's just for me to know that I can do that. And yeah, basically, you know. My brother did graffiti when he was younger. He's 10 years older than me. So I think I was around the age of maybe 6, 7. I remember going to his room and his wardrobe was battered, like just writing everywhere. It wasn't even graffiti at this stage. It was just pure tags. He vandalized his whole room. And I just remember growing up and seeing it. And I remember seeing the letter S. But the letter S to me, it looked like it had attitude. I don't know if that makes any sense. it was like, it was done in a way, it was just like, had attitude to it. And I like that. And then growing up, you know, it's just like doodling. And then I kind of took interest into doing tags, and it just kind of built on from there. But graffiti is mainly just like a way to express ourselves and to challenge ourselves, knowing that we can do it, you know? And don't forget, back in the day, there was nowhere to learn graffiti. You had to like practice before you hit the streets, you know? Or else you get called a toy, which means an unexperienced writer. So you had to practice your hand styles, practice your styles, and then after, try it. So this is, I mean, basically, Vegan No Blood No Bones came from, there's a song called No Bones No Blood. And that was one of my favorite songs when I turned vegan. It was like, rah, I love the lyrics for that. So I just kind of incorporated that into this design. And I remember I was in my mum's house, and this is all handwritten, by the way. And I needed to create the drip. So I put a piece of paper up on the wall, and I got a juicy marker, juiced it up, and then writ it and made sure that it dripped. And I did that, and then we put it on, we put it in a t-shirt. So these are real drips, real handwritten hand styles. Whereas now, you can do this on an iPad now, but this isn't. So yeah, that's kind of like, it was kind of like my unofficial slogan, unofficial, how would you say, trademark, but now it's just become a part of CookDaily as well. And someone from Germany got that tattooed on his leg. You can see it on my Instagram. So when he said to me, bro, I really want to get this tattooed, I didn't believe him. And I think he's been asking me for about 1.5 years. I just kind of ignored it. I didn't think he was serious. And then he kept on asking me, and I thought, nah, this guy's serious. So I sent him the image, and he came to the shop from Germany, showed me the tattoo, a big, massive one on the back of his thigh. And I was like, wow. And my wife was like, how do you feel knowing that someone inked themselves up with your hand styles? I was like, I don't know how I feel, man. All I know that is this guy's hardcore, you know, he's dedicated more than me. You know, I don't have graffiti on my body, but I do have tattoos. But no, I respect to him, man. Yeah, vegan, no blood, no bones. Just spending time with my children, my wife, and just being free, man. You know, doing what we want. You know, not being too restricted. That's what feeds my soul. I'm lucky enough to kind of wake up and just decide what I want to do on my days off. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we have our regime, but after that, I ask the kids, what do you want to do? You want bubble tea, you want to go out, you want to go skating, you want to go Bethnal Green, do some roller skating, you want to play basketball, you want to go bowling, you want to go arcade, whatever they want, we do it. Whatever's fun is fun for them, is fun for me, believe it or not. Deep down inside, I'm a big kid. I'm a big kid, so you know, I can always get down with the kids, do anything really, climbing frames. Like if I go to the park, I'm not just sitting there watching them, you know, I'm joining in. I'm like, yo, come up, Indy, come up. I'm climbing first, come up, come up. I'm not even like helping them, I'm climbing first, yeah. Skating, I just love watching them skate, ice skating, whatever. Like that's what feeds my soul, is just living everyday life with your loved ones, to be honest with you. And then coming home and just enjoying the evening together. Might watch a film or boxing or something, yeah. 100%, I think I'm definitely doing that for sure. All the things that they're doing right now, I wasn't lucky enough to get the opportunity to do, you know, so I can only give back like this, yeah. Education, sports, activities, yeah. I lacked in that, so I can only give it back now. To be honest with you, I just have fun with the kids, man. Like whatever they want to do, whatever they want to roll, I'll roll with them. You know, sometimes I get invited to these places, that places, and I'm thinking, do I go to this exciting place, or do I go training with them? I'll go training with them. I mean, I've got to that level now where it's like partying or events. It's like, yeah, it's like almost like a hit and miss with me. I'd rather like just be with my kids, because that's what makes me happy the most, you know. Other events and stuff is cool and everything, but I'll be honest with you, sometimes I find things like that boring. Yeah, if I need to be stimulated in it, you know, we just come back from the boxing gym. And I'm just alert watching kids spar, other kids train. It's exciting, it's energetic, and I need that. Have I faced any difficulties? Yeah. Wow. The short answer is yes. I've got so many examples, but no, of course, man. Growing up, early 90s, late 90s, being from my heritage, which is Laos, I was the only Laos student in my school with the population was 1,000 pupils, and I was one person from Laos. Yeah, people that looked similar to me were from Philippines, Vietnamese. Yeah, I did. All my friends were everything apart from Laos, so that had a big impact on me. But I feel like me being the only Lao person from Southeast Asia was just something that I had to deal with myself. Do you know what I mean? I didn't really talk about it with anybody, but I just knew when I went home who I was. And when I stepped out that door, I was this person that was influenced by so many things, so many cultures, so many types of food, so many types of areas, so many types of postcodes. But as soon as I went home, I was this Lao person, Lao boy with Lao parents. So it was almost like a Clark Kent identity thing going on there. Do you know what I mean? It really was, because like I said, I had no one to relate to apart from my cousins. None of them went to my school. Most of them were girls. My brother was 10 years older, so he had already left home. So I was by myself and I had to deal with a lot of things. But luckily, I had a strong mind, and I was part of the popular kids. And saying that, I look back to the kids that are not so popular, that are from similar places to me, and I could see that they lacked confidence now. You know what I'm trying to say? But with me, it was different. I was always there. I was actually the class clown. Always the person making everyone laugh, the popular person in the room, having a name like King, stood out in school. Yeah, man, I was popular. Fashion-wise, I had all the latest clothes, the latest trainers. My parents spoilt me, so I was lucky that they got me the things that I wanted. It kind of like built my status in school, because that's what it was about, right? People that had things was like, oh, you've got things, you can afford things, you're okay, you're popular. So I kind of like ran with that energy, and it's always been like that since. So yeah, that's my childhood in a nutshell, really. I was lucky that I wasn't such a quiet child, you know what I mean? I was quite out there. Yeah, the leader of the pack. I mean, you know, when you're a kid, like having friends and playing out on the streets, whether it be football or climbing, that built me, that built my character. I didn't really think about my race that much back then, but now I could see, because back then we were all kids, man, and we all played with each other. Do you know what I mean? And as time went on, it kind of got a bit divided. It divided with that, and I could see that, and I had to kind of figure out where was my place in this. Do you know what I mean? And do I go with the blacks? Do I go with the whites? Do I go with the Asians? So I just chose, you know what? I'm going to go with everyone, and be this person that I am today. So yeah, that's Newham for you. That's my experience of growing up in Newham in East Ham. And with that came food. Don't forget, the first time I had jollof rice was at my friend's house. He was his parents were from Nigeria, and I remember having this rice, but I didn't know the name or anything. I just remembered it as kind of like a tomato rice, but I've never had this rice, and it always stayed with me. And I was like, wow, this rice is so tasty. And then I would go to my English friend's house and have a meal on the tray, watching TV and having dinner with them. Early as well. It was like 5 p.m. having dinner. And that was early for me, because my household would have dinner at 7, 8 o'clock. And so food came with that. You know, we're having different types of friends. Food came with that. And I could experience different food cultures with my friends and my friendship circle. Yeah. Being here in Shoreditch, giving good food to people that's honest, that's already like a movement, like an impact on people. You know, you'd be amazed to see how grateful and thankful people are that they come in here, they spend their hard-earned money with me, and they're still saying, when they see me, like, thank you so much, you know, I really appreciate that, that fed my soul, or like, do you know what I mean? I mean, with all the veggies and the good food and the love that we put into it, people can feel it, and they let us know by that. So by just us being here, you know, and people know how much work we put into the dishes and into just operating this, they can respect that. And people respect that, follow my journey, they respect that my opening hours, that I'm trying to balance family life, etc. with my kids. They respect that, so they know that there's a real human behind this restaurant. Do you know what I mean? And that in itself is powerful within the community as well, especially feeding people food that's good for them. You know, I'd be honest with you, man, I could make loads of money selling fried food, fried chicken, animal products with eggs or whatever. I could do that for sure. But we choose to do honest things. And yeah, I say that because what really hurts me is so much chicken shops for kids to have after school. You know, my kids go to school now, innit? So it's like, me seeing that, it's like, wow, that's not good for them. You know, and I wish I could be a part of that and change that, but me just being one person by myself is so hard. You know, yeah, it does break my heart when I see kids having unhealthy food after school. I just wish that there was another option. But I know that it's hard because healthy food is expensive now or whatever. Fast food is quick and cheap and you can turn it around quickly. So I understand how it works, but it's just sad that it's happening to our future. You know what I mean? Because people have that 2 times a day sometimes, you know? Including myself when I was younger, but it wasn't so much chicken shops, it was just straight up chip shops. Oh. Yeah, like traditional just chips in a vat. It was called a chip roll. You had your bread, your butter and your chips in there, chip roll, or sausage fried in batter. It was like traditional English style lunch for kids back then. But now you have your chicken involved. I just wish that there was something much more healthier for them. Back in the day, I thought yes, but reality-wise, it's so hard, you know. It's so hard to do. I mean, if I had a big backing, trust me, I would be out there giving so much back to the younger generation. But like I said, this is almost like a one-man band that's trying to do good by just feeding the community in such a small space, and not so much big mile radius out here. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm only based in East London, so people from far out would have to travel. But if I could change that 100%, yeah, man, I would make that happen. But yeah, the reality is that's very difficult. Like, let's say I was to franchise, it will change. It doesn't have that same feel, that same soul behind it anymore. It just becomes a business then. Yeah. I've had opportunities to do that, and it was like, do I go down this route? How does it look? And someone showed me on paper how it would look. To be honest with you, it didn't speak to me. It was like, wow, it looks good on paper, but where am I in all of this really? Where am I? Am I in the kitchen? Am I speaking to people? Am I connecting? I lose all of that. It's just, okay, we have one in South, here, there. And it almost becomes just another number. And that's something that I didn't want to do. Do you know what I mean? This year, I'll be honest with you, the future, this year is just to do the same thing day in, day out. That's what I'm focusing on. I realized from a young age that catering takes, we talk in years. Do you know what I mean? Like, so for me to say, oh, within the next month, I want to do this, do that, that's not realistic. I'm still going to be here for the next, hopefully 12 months, just cooking and cooking and cooking. And then whatever happens after that, happens. But for now, I'm focusing on, well, it's been nearly 2 years now, me cooking every single day. So I'm just going to keep on doing that and just staying focused and doing that. And then whatever happens after that happens. And I mean, like, I would love to do things on a big scale, you know, upscale, not so much CookDaily, but me as a person, give back in a different way, you know, whether it be through television, books or something. I'm not sure yet, but I know that I have more to give than just me being here cooking every single meal. But for now, it's that's going to be the backbone of my story, because yeah, you can't deny that, and that's the truth. So whatever happens in the future, I need to have that to fall back on and said, look, I've done it this way, I've put years, you know, my life. I've dedicated my life to this craft. So I can only be rewarded with something that's truthful, you know what I mean? Yes. Rather than me being this person, jumping on this straight away, that way, it's like, it doesn't make sense to me at this stage. Yeah, I would like to do things properly. Put in the years, and then you can be an expert at that and talk about it for real. Just like my cold showers, right? It's like I've did it for nearly 2 years now. So after 2 years, at least I can speak on it for real. What it's done for me, rather than, yeah, I've did it for a week and this has happened. It's like, no, I'm still on it, yeah. My dreams are for my kids now, man. I just want them to be successful in their sport, in their field. The first two, London and Indy, they're into boxing, so I can see a bright future in that. And if we don't make it to the top, then at least I'm thinking a gym. I can have my own gym with them. Father and kids business. I could run the food side. I've told them, I run the food side, the cafe, the food side, the restaurant, whatever. You run the gym side. And we can have a little empire of health and fitness where we have a good CookDaily kitchen and a good training facilities for everyone. But I'm sure they'll go beyond that and we won't even have to talk about CookDaily anymore. It'll just be me following them and the lights. So that's an investment also, isn't it? I'm investing my time in them for it to happen for them. So yeah, that's my dream though. My dream is for them to live that high life through the sport of boxing and beyond. I've got to mention father, a teacher. I say that because I find myself always teaching in the kitchen. I'm always explaining to my staff about the places that I've been and what I've learned, and I always pass it on to them. And sometimes I think they've heard enough, but I feel like, what's the point of me doing this for like 2 decades plus, 25 years in, and not passing down information to them? So I'm always passing on information to them. So teacher, father, and the last one, a creator. I like to create, whether it be food, art, filming, whatever. Yeah, I like that, yeah. So I think I'll go with them 3. What is it? Father, teacher, and then creator.